I was reading, just finished up Malachi, and was going over into the New Testament, and I was actually thinking about this earlier today, and it says right there, the words of Christ in red. Oh, that's backwards in the video. Anyway, you get the gist. Jesus' words in a lot of Bibles are in red. I think maybe once I saw them in blue, and I really didn't like it. And I was thinking about it today, and I was like, it's interesting that it's red. I'm like, why is it? I just wondered, like, if we would have had decided to put them in blue, what would that have done anything to us, like psychologically? Would that, I don't know, just what would the difference be? Like, what would throughout these 2,000 years or whatever that we've had the Bible, would we look at it differently if the words were blue? And I was like, I think it's important that they're in red, because I think they were put in red because of the blood. If I would guess, I'm very unsure of that. It's a total guess, but then that also relates to the earth, because the dust is red in the earth, and so it's the incarnation. It's the story, the narrative has come down and touched earth and has become incarnate, and the Word is now walking and living and speaking among us, and we behold its glory. Even the all these other stories, all these other myths, and like Greek myths and everything, because I was thinking about that today as well. I was thinking, because I heard someone make that statement again, as saying, like, the Bible is a collection of stories, and you could look at it that way, of like, we even have evolved as creatures together and told these stories verbally before we wrote them down, and these were the best ones, like, just because they stuck with us the most. They really resonated on our heart, and they're just the best stories, promoted, somehow worked the best values in people, even people that didn't understand them. So we ended up with this, with the scripture, with the Bible, and that's what it is. It's a collection of stories that have kind of survived an evolution of stories. I could totally agree with that and be on board with that, but then I just read it and I'm like, what the heck? Why would we have these genealogies? Like, why do we have that? Why not just, because the genealogies don't resonate with most people. Like, they probably resonate with Jewish people, but I think that's the importance of it, is because the genealogies should also be in red or something like that, because it makes the story incarnate. It's saying, look, this is not just some myth, this is history as well. This is the myth in the flesh, the story, the narrative, the divine story being worked out in the flesh through a nation of Israel, through God's people. So I think it's the same reason, like, Christ's words are in red, is so like this subconscious reminder that subconscious reminder that the story it happens in the flesh. It happens in our red clay, our red fleshy skin. We can touch it, we can taste it, we can feel it. It happens to our five senses. And like the Greek myths, they don't do that. I love the Greek myths. I love fairy tales, other stories, but they kind of remain in some ethereal realm, off in the heavens. And so if Christ's words were in blue, it would give more the sky is blue. It would, like, I would just wondered, like, his words, would he over time, through 2,000 years, be more liquidy, like, this was totally the wrong word. I'm thinking blue is in, like, water, like, you can't grasp it. Like, we couldn't take it to our bosom, the word wouldn't become flesh and dwell among us. The fact that his words are in red is the flesh, the red flesh, the red dust of the earth. Same thing with the genealogies, though. I think I could be wrong. I mean, to me, that would be not the only purpose that they're included in the story, but maybe the main purpose is that it keeps it incarnate and says, look, here's the story, the great narrative of the story of stories, and it is real, and it is in the flesh. So that's all.